As Ashlee's friend, I'm tired of everybody coming on this fucking app with their opinions, with their thoughts, with their conspiracies of what they think may have happened to my friend. It's clear as day that this man murdered and killed my friend. He tried to stage it as a suicide. Let's put that on the floor. Number one, Ashlee would never harm herself. Ashlee was beautiful, happy, talented, hardworking. She had no reason to. I was just speaking to her and I have the messages of while she was on this trip. Number two.
The story surrounding Ashlee Jenae has split the internet straight down the middle, turning timelines into battlegrounds where one side is demanding justice at any cost, while the other is convinced she somehow had this coming. And long before she ever boarded that trip, there were voices in her comments warning her to stay far away from Joe McCann. Warnings she brushed off with confidence as she clapped back and accused them of jealousy over her new relationship. But now with her second IG page surfacing and painting her as a sugar baby, the internet has begun peeling back the layers of her life, digging deep into the image she curated and the complicated, shadowy dynamic she shared with Joe McCann.
I'm noticing that black men only speak on black women getting murdered when it's a white man doing it. Y'all kill us every day. Black women get strangled, stabbed, shot. But when it's a white man do it, that's when you say something.
It feels like every single day reveals another piece of who Ashlee Jenae really was beneath the glossy perfection of her Instagram world. And just to rewind for a moment, Ashlee and her boyfriend Joe McCann, known as a crypto businessman, had flown out to Zanzibar, Tanzania to celebrate her 31st birthday, a trip that seemed like a dream as it unfolded, with a proposal that had her calling family and friends in excitement and even sharing the moment online. But within hours, that dream twisted into something unthinkable when news broke that she had died, and almost immediately things stopped making sense, especially when it came to Joe, who after her passing went completely silent. Not a single tweet, not a word, and erased every trace of her from his Instagram as if she had never existed. While people familiar with him pointed out he never posted her to begin with, despite living on her page, instead only sharing personal moments with his wife, adding another layer of confusion. And as Ashlee's family revealed he hadn't even reached out to them, questions only multiplied, especially when a GoFundMe was launched to bring her home, raising eyebrows about how someone who showcased such an extravagant lifestyle, luxury trips on a whim, designer gifts, endless indulgence, could seemingly have nothing behind the scenes, leaving everyone asking what was real and what wasn't. And the internet didn't have to wait long before answers, or at least more pieces of the puzzle, began to surface.
How y'all doing?
Hey,
How y'all doing? You know, we keeping it organic. Me and my little chocolate Easter bunny. Babe, stop playing. Babe, you know I'm sensitive, babe. We about to get in a lick. This her car. She just came for to pick me up.
Something like, not too crazy.
She from Philly, so you know she crazy. She toxic. She might stab me. You might stab me in my sleep. You told me if I take my hands off, you gonna beat me up.
Because I'm blowing my hands.
Behind the filters and curated posts. Ashlee wasn't just another influencer in Miami, but someone deeply embedded in its nightlife scene, reportedly known as both a bottle girl and a video vixen with strong connections in entertainment circles. And according to someone who claimed to know her personally, her past was far more layered, describing how she had once been a stripper and met Joe while working a pole at a party, a moment that allegedly sparked a whirlwind relationship filled with luxury travel and explosive arguments stretching over a year and a half, including multiple engagements and repeated police interventions, while Joe himself was rumored to be entangled in financial crime investigations tied to questionable investment practices, creating a dynamic marked by wealth, power imbalance, and volatility. And though the truth of that night remains unclear, the narrative painted online suggests something far more complicated than the glamorous image she projected, especially as Ashlee positioned herself within the divestment community, openly advocating for dating outside her race as a pathway to a better life, even tweeting bold statements about her preferences and future. And when she stepped into the spotlight with Joe, presenting him as a powerful crypto CEO, it looked like she had reached the life she envisioned. But critics argue the road there was anything but clean, pointing to a second Instagram page where she allegedly marketed herself, the same space where Joe first connected with her before they met in person, eventually going public around November 2025 as they celebrated a one-year anniversary that now raises even more questions about how everything truly began.
Do you know what really made me sad? And I don't know whether you caught it. I've been looking for it, but I know as fact because I took some pictures from that page. Ashlee had another Instagram page. It's been taken down. Somebody has taken down that second Instagram page. Why? Because you see, there's an old saying, when you start to throw water, if you throw water at a wall, it goes in every direction, not just one direction. Which means that as we are going to expose Joe for who and what he is, it's also unfortunately going to expose Ashlee for what she was doing. We also find out
What makes the timeline even more unsettling is that around that same period, Joe was publicly speaking about his wife and young children, forcing a deeper question into the narrative about whether this relationship with Ashlee began while he was still married. And if he truly was the devoted family man he portrayed, quickly did that marriage end? Or did it at all before he dropped to one knee in Zanzibar? Because whispers suggest that the engagement may not have been as traditional as it appeared, possibly more performance than promise, even as he seemingly funded the soft life she displayed, flying her across the world and fulfilling the image she projected. Yet beneath that luxury, there were constant clashes, escalating arguments, and growing aggression, with one of Ashlee's friends confirming that what happened at the villa was not an isolated incident, stating publicly that this wasn't the first time he had crossed a line, fueling anger and suspicion, especially as those close to her insist she stayed despite everything until it all went too far. And now as narratives spiral, her friends are pushing back hard against claims labeling her as an escort, refusing to let that version of her story take hold.
Since about 2021 to 2022, everything that everybody's saying couldn't be further from the truth of who she was as a person. And it's bad enough finding out and having this be the way that I found out about Ashlee and everything that she's been through. But it's almost traumatizing to see how people talk about her in the midst of this devastating loss.
To counter the speculation, they brought forward text messages that they say prove the engagement was genuine and that Ashlee was genuinely excited about building a future with Joe, while even Joe Budden revealed he knew her and expressed surprise upon learning just how integrated she already was in Joe's life, mentioning that she had been doing school runs with his children despite the relationship still being relatively new, adding yet another unexpected layer to a story already filled with contradictions.
Stand none of the romantic choices. But if that's your homegirl and you love her and they vouch for that person, Ashlee and homeboy was at my birthday dinner. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were at my birthday dinner. And I invited Ashlee the last 2 years to my birthday dinner. So this year I made it a point to get on the phone. Like, yo, this is the year. What's up? You gonna make it? And she was on some shit like, yeah, you know, just gotta check on my man, and I know we gotta drop off the stepkids and we gotta pick them up from school and they on spring break and this, and I'm on the phone like, no, for real? Like, yo, you playing stepmommy over there?
Her friends continue to paint a different picture, describing Ashlee as a driven businesswoman with a successful hair care brand that supposedly funded her lifestyle, though the absence of any clear online presence for that business raises its own set of questions, leaving a gap between what's claimed and what can be verified. But to those closest to her, the escort allegations are nothing more than attempts to tarnish her name, and regardless of what's true or not, they emphasize one undeniable reality. A young woman went on vacation and never made it back. And no label, no speculation, no narrative changes that, because no one deserves an ending like this, which is why calls for answers are growing louder, with many demanding that Zuri Zanzibar release CCTV footage from that night to bring clarity and accountability, especially as the haunting detail of her final post lingers, showing her feeding a giraffe with HPD Ashlee spelled out in rose petals at her feet, a moment frozen in time from April 5th, just days before everything ended, a reminder of how quickly everything changed, leaving behind grief, unanswered questions, and a divided audience still trying to make sense of it all. So now the question turns to you. What do you think about this? And as the conversation continues, make sure to share your thoughts, stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.
Peace.